On this segment, we'll be giving you the step-by-step instructions on how to change your headlight, signal light, tail lights on your vehicles. We will tell you what size replacement bulbs are needed and what tools are required for this application. The most important part of any service or work you do to your vehicle is to use the proper tools and work easily and not force anything. Watch the video carefully and follow the step-by-step instructions. Review the video as many times as you need to be sure and confident in your ability. With that, let's get started with today's application. From us here at Auto Body Tips, thank you and enjoy the video.
The tools we'll be using today are a fiber stick for prying, a Phillips screwdriver, an 8mm socket with extension and ratchet. To remove our headlight, we first have to remove the signal light in order to take a look at the headlight, because the signal light sits over the headlight a little bit. To remove our signal light, we first have to remove the one Phillips screwdriver that sits on top of the signal light. Let's go ahead and take that out and set that aside. With our screw out, we can gently pry on the signal light and pull it out. The signal light is clipped in by these two rods and they go into the connectors on the fender. In order to remove this signal light, we first have to depress the tab on the back of the socket and gently pry back. Let's set that aside and get our headlight out. With our signal light removed, we can go ahead and remove our headlight housing. This is done by pulling up on the two tabs that hold in the retainers. Just lift up on both sides and gently wiggle it out. You may have to push up and down a little bit just to remove it. With our headlight housing removed here, we now need to disconnect the headlight bulb itself. Gently pry on the back of the tabs. You want to be careful here because they are brittle. Just get in there with your fiber stick, pry, and gently wiggle out. Let's have a look at the bulbs in this headlight. To better show you how the tabs come up off the headlight retainers, we put the retainer rod back on, and now I'll show you how when you slide it up, what happens is that it slides off these two little clips here and then gently moves out. You have to be sure that it's, when you move it up and down, that it's got to be just right so it comes out easily. Now for the headlight bulb. Remembering always to put some paper down or something to protect your headlight and your signal light lenses. With the headlight held securely in place, take the retaining collar on the bulb and turn counterclockwise, twist off. Set that aside. Now we'll remove the headlight bulb. Just gently pry on it. There's a little rubber gasket and it'll come out just easy like that. This headlight bulb is a 9007LL HP5 bulb. This bulb is in good shape, so we're going to go ahead and put it in after we give it a little bit of a wipe. Just wipe your headlight bulb off to ensure that there's no greases from your fingers on there, and reinstall the bulb. Again, putting back in, press down. It can only go in one place because of the tabs, and reinstall your retaining ring. Place it over and turn it until you feel it click. Then you know it's secure. To inspect your signal light socket or bulb, turn on the socket gently and pull out. With the socket out, gently hold the bulb and wiggle it out. This bulb is a 3157A double filament amber bulb. It's good as well, so let's go ahead and reinstall that. Click it in so it's snug. Taking a second to wipe off any grease you may have got on it. And lining up the tabs with the housing. Place it in and turn. To reinstall our headlight, first we're going to connect back on the pigtail that we first took off. That can only go on one way. Put it on and gently push it. When it clicks over the tab, you know it's on. The next thing to do is line up the 3 pins that hold the headlight into the header and through those metal sliding clips we showed you earlier. So take your time here. It takes a little bit of wiggling around to ensure that you have them just in the right place. Once you feel secure and they are in, go ahead and push down your tabs. With our headlight reinstalled, we can go ahead and reinstall our signal light. On the back of the signal light, we first reconnect the connector to the socket, and then using the 2 peg guides, we're going to slide them into the 2 round clip retainers. So let's go ahead and put that back in. Grab the hole of the wiring harness and reconnect it to the signal light socket. Just pushes in one way. Once that's in, you can line up your signal light to the housing and push into place. With our signal light mounted back into place, let's go ahead and reinstall that Phillips screw to hold it in. We'll now replace our Phillips screw into our signal light. Just turn it in, not too far, nice and snug. Now we can take a look at our taillights. In order to remove our taillight assembly, we have to open up the tailgate and take a look inside. Let's have a look. To get our taillight bolts, we first have to remove our 3 rubber grommets. Just get your finger in there and pry out. Just 1, 2, and 3. Set them aside. Now with your 8mm ratchet and socket, go ahead and remove those 3 bolts. And set them aside. With our bolts out of this taillight assembly, let's go ahead and remove it. Get your fingers underneath this leading edge and gently wiggle it out. Well, if that's out, we can go ahead now and disconnect our lights. To remove our plugs from the sockets, we have to depress the tabs that hold the wiring harness onto the socket. So let's go ahead and do that. Just press on and pull back. You might have to wiggle it a little bit. Sometimes they can be stubborn. Let's have a look at those bulbs. To remove our taillight bulb, or brake light bulb, grab hold of the socket and turn it counterclockwise and remove. To remove the bulb, grasp hold of it and wiggle it out. This bulb is a 3157K double filament clear, and it's in good shape, so we'll reinstall. Click it back in. Take a second just to clean off any oils that might have got on it and reinstall it. Just to line the tabs up with the housing. Can only go one way. Once in, turn back in until it stops. For the reverse light, same procedure. Turn out, grab hold of the bulb and wiggle it out. This bulb for a reverse light is a 3156K single filament clear. This one's good as well. Let's reinstall. You can only go in one way as the other one and turn in. Now our bulbs are good, let's go ahead and reinstall this taillight. On our taillight, it has 2 guides. Those slide into the 2 slots on the box panel housing. First we'll reconnect our electrical. Slide on till you hear the click, as well as the top. With our electrical reconnected, we can go ahead and slide that taillight back into place and reinstall our 3 8mm screws. Support your taillight assembly with one hand so it's nice and snug in your box panel. Then go ahead and just loosely fit all 3 bolts into the taillight. Then go ahead and tighten it with your ratchet. If the bolt's nice and snug inside the housing, we'll go ahead and reinstall our 3 rubber grommets and we're done. Just to push them in so they have a good seal all the way around. There we are. Hopefully we saved you a little time and a little money. And from us at autobodytips.net, thank you.